who is passionately supporting his second choice. Must be put on record. His first choice was Lanchemati, so he's passionately supporting his second choice. I wish him all the best. I wish him all the best.
You didn't start the hit,
No. I can't start a hit if I was a very unnecessary hit. and I'm still supporting. First of all, I support Ghana, and I still support Alan Chematin. So what Mujib is supporting his second choice very passionately, and I wish him all the best in that endeavor. And other people, I think this Saturday, you deliberately decided to bring two of the people that I really consider it a privilege sharing a platform with. Arguably the most consistent politician or activist in this country. With Ango Kwesipat, I can confidently say that I can be a prophet because I can predict what his position is, and I think that's the kind of politicians we need. We don't need people who shift and change their positions as and when it benefits them. Because if you do that, then you become like the MPP. you lose your soul. No. The only thing that runs my
still runs in your vein, and I know you'll come back. And you'll be back.
The only thing that runs my vein is
Ghana first. And that's one of our Ghana first.
There's something the NPP say, and then they say it proudly. I don't know if they'll still stand by that position when they're going to choose their people to sponsor. Because I think I keep on saying this, in our system, it's not the party that governs. It's an individual, especially when for the president, executive power is not placed in the hands of the party. It's placed in the hands of the individual. So all the party does is to sponsor. Now when they're going to decide who do want to sponsor, they always say something, that the spirit of the party will choose who they should sponsor. So if the spirit of the party is going to choose somebody who potentially can become the president of Ghana, then I think it is our obligation as Ghanaians to try and interrogate what that spirit is. But that spirit is going to choose somebody that we need to take a decision on. Now, I think that the MPP themselves, they don't know themselves, so they take things for granted. Because if you go into the history of this country, the only free and fair elections the Danquah Buzia tradition ever won was in 2000. That's the only free and fair election they ever won, first time. Because when Buzia won in 1969, they had banned the CPP. So it was like, let's pretend to hold some election and choose somebody. So if you want to use history and to make an analysis of same, then whatever the idea is, it's not something that Ghanaians feel they align with. And so the MPP always, and because of that, they need to do extra to convince Ghanaians. I think Kofo probably did a very good job at that. Because I recall in 2016 when Anadu won, I found myself in Odududu, and the comments there were, oh, Kofo has come again. Only to realize that there was some charlatan who was pretending to believe in the ideals of their party, who used the powers we gave him to pursue his parochial agenda. And right now, if we are analyzing what the spirit of the MPP is right now, the first thing that pops up in my mind is parochial. That these are people who don't care about Ghana, whose agenda is anti-Ghana, and evidence are there. Because MPP has their constitution, and their constitution they have what they call their policy. So they quote something from Appiah Danquah, and they also have their preamble, and both their policy and their preamble focuses on Ghana, on the unity of Ghana, on the development of Ghana, on freeing the creative spirit of Ghanaians to build a country. When Anadu became president, did he represent a lot for Ghana? Because if he did, then when the people of Mepi suffered from the flood, he would have thought about Ghana, and he would not have made that reckless statement that after all, you didn't vote for me, so I should have come here. Then when he had the opportunity of speaking to people of Kofi, he would not have said that I deliberately reneged on my obligations towards you because you did not vote for my MP. Because his focus was in Ghana. If his focus was Ghana, then when he had a report that suggested that Galamsey was destroying the very fiber of this country. It's putting all of our lives at risk. He would not have shelved it for 2 years. He would not have shelved it for 2 years. But he did that. He shelved it for 2 years. And indeed, he sat down and allowed the OSP, because I don't believe the OSP is really independent, to go after the person who wrote that report. 8 of our compatriots lost their lives in an election. 8 of our compatriots lost their lives in an election. So now have you heard a statement, a word, a cough from His Excellency Nana Addo on that regard? 8. Now, when Nana Addo was delivering this governance, that was adverse not just to the values of Ghana, but that was adverse to the values of the NPP. What did the NPP say? Because the NPP is not the same as government. They are different. And they are different. And I'm glad that in all of these things, it's on record that I've made my position clear on them. The guarantee you should have made my position which was adverse to Nana Addo's position, even when I was in NPP. So it's not about me being a member. When I was even in the NPP, when I was still in the NPP, I made my positions which were against Nana Addo's position. Because I told them I'm a Ghanaian. That's the only blood that courses through my veins. But what the NPP say? Because if they are committed to their values, to their objectives, then if they sponsor a president, and there's a spirit of the party that chose that president candidate, and the idea is that that president candidate is going to deliver a governance which is in tune or aligned to their stated objectives. So when that person comes and he's delivering a governance system which one is adverse to your stated objectives, and certainly is adverse to the nation's agenda, there is the obligation of the party to speak against it. Last week, when I don't know how to address him, is it His Excellency or Honorable Elvis Friangra? Because he's an envoy of the president. When he attempted, or when he made his personal position about what's it called, this spiritual issue, the MPP made a statement, the chairman of the MPP, and I'm presuming that that's the position of the party, that they are against his position. They are against his position. So when in the Galamsey issue, the party should have come out and stated their position. Those reckless statements may pay a confee, a Jeso. If indeed the parties were against those positions, they should have stated it. But they did not. Why? Because Nana Addo was reflecting the character of the party. The character which, for all intents and purposes, can be said to be more of a familiar spirit than of any good spirit. So, I look at the persons who have put themselves up wanting to be sponsored by the party. And I'm not surprised. I'm surprised my brother here said that even his candidate, NDC, cannot have anything to say against. Ordinarily, he's somebody I like. But Ghanaians will never forgive him for that statement that Akan should rise up and attack Ghans. Because if you understand the history of this country, where we've come, and our appreciation that to achieve our collective agenda, we need to forge one Ghana where your tribe will be at the back burner. Then where you are a politician, an MP, and you've sworn an oath that you are going to be faithful to Ghana, means that you're going to be faithful to the agenda of Ghana. You're going to be faithful to the purpose of Ghana. And you make a statement which is like piercing a knife at the very heart of the country. Because you take somebody like myself, my older sister, may so rest in peace. She's Mrs. Lai. I have nieces and nephews who are Ghans. So when you call me that I should attack, you are calling me to attack my brothers. My second sister, she is Mrs. Sinati people, married to another woman. Because my father was a CP man. And if there's anything that the CP people can consistently lay claim to, is that Ghana agenda, that one Ghana agenda. So in my house, there was nothing like, there was no consideration, as in when you bring them home, oh, where is she from? No, that was not a question for consideration. And that's always been my attitude. Because we can't build that one Ghana if we do not put to the backbencher at the tribe we are from. But we are Ghanaians. I don't have an Ashanti passport for crying out loud. My passport is just one. Ghana passport. So if you are going to present somebody to Ghana, who we have on record to have made a statement that attacked the very foundation of this country. Because Ghana is an amalgamation of a number of states. The Northern Territories, Ashanti, Gold Coast, and Transwater Togoland. Even if we have to go deeper, it's of diverse nations. The powerful nation of Dagbon is a nation. Gunja is a nation. Asante is a nation. But if there's one thing history has taught us, that all great nations are nations that were built on the foundation of diversity. Because in our diverse values and principles is our strength. And so one of the cardinal obligations of any good leader in this modern state, Ghana, is to behave in a manner that will enhance this nation we've created. So when you present to me somebody who has behaved in a manner that tells me that he does not believe in building that foundation and sees people in the eyes of their tribe, then you are bringing somebody that I should reject. That for me is an obligation to reject. Then their candidate, and that's why we rejected him. We rejected him. He premised his entire campaign on tribalism. His entire campaign was premised on tribalism. I see the party has become very tribal. The party, the spirit, because the spirit of the party that is going to choose who their candidate is. And it's choosing the people that they want to consider. And this familiar spirit that has become tribal, because you see, I'm saying if you read their party's constitution, their fourth objective, so to foster and promote actively unity among all the peoples of this country, regardless of race, place of origin, circumstances of birth, ethnic origin, position, gender, religion or creed, occupation. So that's the objective. And then immediately they started making those arguments, Dombo, Danquah, Buzia, Dombo. And the understanding of that is tribal. If the party was fidel to its stated objectives, then they ought to have disqualified people who were saying that vote for me because of where I come from. Because that's the essence of the Danquah Dombo Buzia argument. And that argument was created by Nanado as one of his strategies of altering the DNA of the MPP to pursue a certain agenda. And Bamia latched onto that. And then you see, he was all over the place. Suddenly, one man, you are called Timothy. One man, you are called Timothy. Suddenly, the same man is also called Kojo. And then Bewa, Timothy Kojo Bewa. Tribalism. Because if there's one thing that puts Ghana ahead of all the other most of the African countries, is the fact that in our passports we do not have what tribe we are from. Well, that's very serious. See, we tend to joke with issues of tribal and ethnic, but when you go across the world, the basis for a lot of the civil wars and it's based on ethnic considerations. And one thing that has helped us is the fact that you struggle to find a Ghanaian who is 100%, let's say, Ashanti. I'm Ashanti, I didn't marry Ashanti one. Yeah, because if unless and until we manage to forge that one Ghana, then all our efforts will be to naught. And so for me, it's cardinal. I don't want a candidate That is tribal. I don't want a candidate, a president, who says that the only reason why I think I ought to be a president of your president is by reason of where I'm from. And that was the foundation of Boni's argument. I'm very, very surprised because I think he's very sharp, maybe on the theory side. I don't know about the practical side because he failed woefully. And I do haven't sold him to us as being the man to reverse the principle of the Hattarization of the city. You all recall. City Nai Hatta Hatta Hatta. City Nai Hatta Hatta. You all recall. And in the words of Bamia himself, when he was launching at UPSC, where he said that Nanado taxed him with the role of dealing with the issues that fundamentally hurt our economy. And he failed. Because going into the last election, I think one of the key issues we all agreed needed a reset was a reset of the fundamental loss of economic credibility. And we found that loss of credibility in issues like the DDEP and how the city itself was performing. And even the opposition, they clearly don't even seem to understand the issues. Because every time that somebody has managed to move the city from 17 to 10 point something, right now it's at 11. But somebody has managed to move the city. This huge percentage, and your question is, you should tell us the policy you used. And you yourself, we don't understand issues because the city does not just, what's called, lose value for nothing. Everything is deliberate. Yeah, I understand. So, their party is very tribal now. So, you see the first two candidates I mentioned. Tribal candidates. And then, there again, they are bringing somebody who didn't have any qualms attempting to buy the property of Ghana. Didn't have any qualms. You're a cabinet minister, and in spite of your duty to act in a manner that will enhance the public trust, you attempt to buy the property of Ghana. Buy. My brother Solo will say, if you allow you to buy the property of Ghana, you start buying all of us. Buy Mujib, then he will buy me. After he will attempt to buy another one. And then after he's bought the property, he come after Conrad. So how much do you think he'll buy it for? And you see, when he gets a chance of speaking on platforms, he says things that suggest that he doesn't mind stoking fire. If you are in a democracy, and you're saying the power that you have, you want to be president? Now, I don't know. See, I don't want to sound judgmental, but would I be wrong if I say that the spirit of their party, rather, we are even familiar, is also of sinners, terrible sinners? Because suddenly, everywhere you pass, 10 cents of assumption, 20 cents of, because I saw the 10 cents of Brian Champion, and when you go through them, you even get angrier. So then people knew that Brian Champion was the one behind I also was welcome. They knew. Because among the 10 cents, I'm not the one saying that they've committed 10 cents, so he's committed 10 cents. They are saying that 10 cents of Brian Champion, and one of the 10 cents was the brain behind the I also West Wagon. So they perpetrated that heinous crime against Ghana, against our democracy. Have you seen the 10 cents of Brian Champion? Number one is he's the brain behind Ayawaso West Wagon. Sam George slap. You call that slap. Did they shoot anybody there?
Yes. They didn't shoot the person dead.
But they shot somebody.
Yeah, they did.
Attempted murder.
Left them with permanent injuries.
But it's an attempt. So you shoot somebody. And the brain behind that, the MPP is Brian Champion. And they were in power. The person they sponsored was the president of Ghana, who took an oath that he was going to preserve, protect, defend the Constitution of Ghana. That meant that he was going to defend, protect, and preserve the objects of the Constitution of Ghana, the objectives, one of which is to protect our lives, protect our liberties. And a Ghanaian was shot. And the mastermind behind that was Brian Champon. What did he do? What was the position of the party? They knew this, but they kept quiet. They knew this, but they kept quiet. So the disgrace that was occasioned on the person of the National Security Minister then, Kanapa. He said Brian Champon was the one who masterminded it. That's what they are saying. The 10 cents of Brian Champon. They knew all this. And the Brian Champon said, no, there are 16 cents of, or 13 of Baumia. Sunlight rice is one. So when we were saying sunlight rice, and they defended sunlight rice, they knew that the sunlight rice actually happened. I'm not the one saying it to Sina. Even I don't do personal stuff. I'm not the one saying it to. The MPP is telling us that they knew that Baumia was behind. Baumia actually expropriated the property of a Ghanaian. A party that says that they believe in property owning. A Ghanaian's property. They knew that Baumia used the powers we gave him to take a fellow Ghanaian's properties and shared it as salary rice. In the first Allah, I think Allah likes stolen rice. They knew it. They said they knew it. They are saying that they knew it. And yet they were defending. And yet they were defending. So, for me, I'm not excited. Indeed, I think MPP has become a party that has lost its essence. That is not worth considering. That they've departed fundamentally from their core values and ideals. There is a party that no longer believes in the principle of the rule of law. They do not. They don't even believe in democracy. They don't believe in fairness. They don't believe in the abiding principle of liberal democracy, which says that those that govern must govern with the consent of those they govern. And so you see that disregard for all these principles in how they've skewed these elections to the benefit of one person. As to whether that person will win or not, that's their own palaver. And they see the party just as a tool to advance their parochial agenda as against the national agenda. First, my brother was right. If you are going to allow one candidate to go and wave to the crowd, allow all of them to go and wave to the crowd. If you are going to allow the party's online portal to be used to broadcast one candidate's, allow all of them. But you see, they don't believe that power really belongs to the people and emanates from the people. And so you see this top-up approach they want to, they are using. So we don't need to speak too much. I'll just ask the people of Ghana to open their eyes. To open their eyes. Because at the end of the day, they are going to choose a candidate, not for the position of party chairman. They are going to choose a candidate to become the president of Ghana. And so by now, the debates should be, what is their program for Ghana? But what do you hear instead? Instead of they telling us that, well, when I come, this is my proposal to transform Ghana. This is my proposal to enhance the unity of Ghana. This is my proposal to deal with a lack of decentralization. This is my program to deal with the Galamsey issue. This is my program to deal with our health crisis. By now we should be having the Shrema debate. But what are they saying? Now one of their candidates is saying that I paid $1,005 United States dollars to every constituency executive. I have contributed money more than anybody in the history of the party. And so because of that, you have to make me president. Sarah, Mujib, I hope you have cash, man. Or you don't have an ambition to be president. No, I say, I hope you have cash, man. I hope you have cash.
Cash for the people.
I hope you have cash. The president is saying that in the history of the MPP, in fact, all the way back to the UP, nobody has contributed money more than he has. And because of that, they should make him president. Openness candidate also says that even people who don't have money can say they are men. I like. It's the people who don't have money even say they are men. So whether you're a man or not, it depends on your money. Economic discrimination. So if you don't have money, you don't have sense to lead the country. Hey, then we'll never have gotten Kwame Nkrumah. Have you seen any house that belongs to Kwame Nkrumah? Because we can't have a debate as to the biggest politician Africa has ever produced. Kwame Nkrumah's claim was not about he having money. See the shared disrespect the young people of the party don't mind meeting out to the older people. See what Abonye is doing to all the old men in the party. That's the party that wants to sponsor a candidate for Ghana. The people of Ghana ought to be asking themselves questions. So for me, my position for Monday was Monday, I'm not an Akwatia citizen. I'm a of Akwatia. I don't know the two of them. I've heard they are saying that somebody is, because he's, but when they say that you don't go back to you in Parliament. It's even some sort of arguments. So I don't know the two of them. But based on the sheer character of the two parties, I have the people of Akwatia go and vote for the green man. Go and vote for the green man. We the yellow people, we have not come up to the party yet, so we don't have a candidate. So in the absence of the yellow, you see, green is very similar to yellow. Go and vote for the green man. Because if their character is familiar spirit character. We don't need familiar spirit to lead our country. These characters. These characters. You understand? So let me end. Because if I say I'll continue.
Because we'll come to Akwatia, that's why.
If I say I'll continue, because see, I've spoken about just three candidates. You
haven't gotten to the other two.
The other two. Other two, one of them was the reason why the MPP is what it is today. So you need people of conviction. The coup d'etat that led to the MPP following, would it have happened if Kwame Nkrumah had been strong? Because if they will tell you the truth, they managed to convince Kwame Nkrumah to vote to get what's it called, Afoko Dems out, thinking that then he will save himself. Oh, listen. So we can't. Listen. I also listen. If Kwame Nkrumah had been strong, then Play would never have become the acting chairman. Because once they had that, then they were able to finish the coup d'etat. But he was not strong. He couldn't be strong. He couldn't be strong. You understand? And so such a fine brain. That's the reason why I love sports. I used to watch him sports highlights. But he, for me, he doesn't have the conviction, that courage of conviction to lead. No, Educhum there. You understand? So, listen. The party itself is sunk. It's a dead party. It's a party without a soul. It's a reprobate party. It's a party that is full of familiar spirits. And if that spirit is the spirit that is going to choose their candidate, then that candidate will be reprobate. That candidate will be familiar spirit. That candidate, you understand? And so for me, I don't care. I'm not a person of second choice like my brother Mujib. Mujib himself that knows that all of them are not correct. You understand? So he's choosing the best of the evils. No problem. But a sinners contest, this contest that has become a sinners contest, who has committed more sins, then whoever you choose for us, in the words of Solo, could be what, a sinner, and we don't want such a person to come and lead this country. So I'll end by saying that they can choose whoever they want to choose. They can choose whoever they want to choose. But Ghanaians, I can bet them, because whoever they will choose, because their party or their reasons for choosing do not align to the values of Ghana, whoever they choose will be rejected massively by the people of Ghana, end to end. If they cannot be honest and come out and say that the reason why they lost in 2024 is Alan Chemartin, even though it's so clear in their book. They tell me that there are people who are not ready to repent. And without repentance, there's no salvation. You understand? So we are not interested in this sinners contest. Whoever they choose will lose Poto.